Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Sports and Other Things of the Sorts. I am Lucas Stein. Wrestlemania 41 is in the books. A lot of mixed opinions on this one from the IWC, which is not necessarily a good source to base your opinions off of, but that's whatever. But I loved WrestleMania. I always love WrestleMania because it always feels big, even if the matches don't feel big. I don't know. It's whatever. I had fun. I love wrestling. That's why I watch wrestling. That makes sense, right? And I wanted to jump on here and give my review of the show and ratings. I thought about making this 2 episodes. It'll probably be just 1. So this will be a marathon here, folks. Man, I hope I remember a lot. I don't know how much of the actual matches I will remember because I don't have a good memory. I really don't. I don't remember what happened on SmackDown 2 weeks ago. Like, I can't think off the top of my head what did actually happen. So, we'll see how it goes. I have a website up here showing me the card results. Hopefully it jogs my memory a little bit. But yeah. I love wrestling. All right. What do I have to say? Yeah, the thing, follow. All right, that's done. Always be respectful, especially when you're giving your opinions. That's what I want this little thing to be, but I'll get there in a second. And with that, welcome to Ratings and Reviews. Ratings and Reviews. Ratings and Reviews. Welcome to Ratings and Reviews. This is exactly what it sounds like. I'm going to rate and review PLEs. This will probably be PLE specific, as it's kind of weird to rate like postseason baseball. Like when people were mad that, it's the Diamondbacks and the Rangers. It's going to be the least watched World Series. Are you just mad that your team's not in it? But whatever. It's fine. This is where I will be giving my ratings, my match ratings for the matches that happened on big PLEs, and my review of the whole show. That'll be a letter grade. The match ratings will be out of 5 stars. Now, I want to make it very clear. My ratings are my ratings. Simple as that. They are not the set in stone word of God, okay? They are just my opinion. These are not meant to start arguments. They're meant to start discussion. I don't want to argue with you about who's right or who's more right than the other person. I want to discuss with you what we liked, what we disliked, where we agree, where we disagree, okay? That is what I want for this series. We share opinions, we don't attack opinions. That's the thing. Okay, so we're going to start off with Night 1, of course. Night 1 began with the World Heavyweight Championship match. It was not an 18-second bout. It was a very, very good match. It was, in my opinion, it was a middle-of-the-road match for Gunther. It's just kind of what we expect. He gave us what we expected from Gunther, which, by the way, is really good. And then Jey Uso, I think he really had to step up his wrestling because he had to, fight the allegations of, he only does super kicks and splashes and all of that. He did a little more than super kicks and splashes. He was trying to, collar and elbow tie up Gunther. He was trying power bombs. He was trying some stuff, and he was doing it really well. I think they blended just fine together as a duo. It was not this, I'm trying to think of like a really, really, really good match. It just wasn't this, 5-star instant classic, like this will be remembered forever. But it was a really good match, in my opinion. I think the ending especially, I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't. They said it made him look weak. But I don't think it did. When Gunther quick tapped I don't think that made Gunther look weak. I think that's a testament to what he had just gone through. As it says here, Jay powerbombed him, then gave him 3 splashes, which are, his finisher, and then he put him in a sleeper hold. And a sleeper hold is dangerous, right? It's nasty, especially when done by Gunther. So Gunther had already been put in a ton of pain, and then to get put in a sleeper, he doesn't want to, be any more embarrassed. He's going to tap out and get out of there. I think it makes sense. And as I found out, after people were criticizing it, he's done that before. That's how he lost the NXT UK title, I believe, if I have my facts straight. He's done it before, and I honestly see the logic behind it. I personally give this match a 3.5 out of 5 stars. And by no means was this a bad match. I think it was a rather good match. I think it was a really good match. It's a match that I would watch again and be like, yeah, of course I like this. I feel like it's par for the course wrestling, but just a little bit better. Because Gunther is such a good wrestler. He's one of my favorites to watch because he just elevates people. And I think Jey Uso really stepped up to his level today. Maybe wasn't exactly there, but, it was enjoyable for me, and that's why I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. This next match, probably not going to be as good. It was the New Day versus the War Raiders. The War Raiders were coming in as the Raw Tag Team Champions. I don't know, are they the World Champions? Are they the WWE Tag Team Champions? Whatever. I don't know the distinction because I just call them the Raw Tag Team titles because it's easier. Anyways, this is a match that was much maligned, especially when you have the Terrific 10, as they're called, apparently, over on SmackDown. The Street Profits, Motor City Machine Guns, the Garzas, you have DIY, and then you have Pretty Deadly. 5 really good tag teams that unfortunately were not on the WrestleMania card. And it truly is unfortunate because they are all so talented. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the World Tag Team title match that was here. Okay, this is kind of funny. The description of this match, like the synopsis of this match, just says, in the end, Kingston and Woods performed Midnight Hour on Ivar to win the title. Doesn't say anything about what happened. And I think that's kind of everyone's feeling on WrestleMania 41, especially night 1. There were a lot of matches. People think there were a lot of matches that weren't worthy of WrestleMania. And while I don't agree with most of the matches they said, this is one I agree with. This would have been awesome on Raw, I think. I think it would have been a great match. I think these 2 tag teams are really good. Their chemistry was a little off during this match, but I think they would be really good on Raw. It just didn't feel like there was enough of a build up to this moment. And obviously I don't have Raw. I don't have Netflix. I've said that before on last episode, actually. But I've seen the clips and I'm just like, it's going to be a good match, I feel like. But it really wasn't a good match. It wasn't anything special, I don't really remember anything. The only thing I remember is New Day winning and running. That's about all I remember. It just wasn't that memorable for me. I don't think it was horrible, but there's nothing that stands out to me as like, wow, remember this moment? Except Ivar doing a moonsault. That will always be impressive to me. Now, the crowd didn't help this match at all. They didn't help most matches, especially night 1. They were just not there, it seemed. But I don't think the crowd would have saved this match per se, so I'm going to give this match 2 out of 5 stars, simply because it just didn't feel big enough. The next match is the Jade Cargill versus Naomi match. This is one I got wrong, as well as the last match that we talked about, the tag team match. I thought Naomi was going to win, but Cargill did. This match was pretty good. The wrestling was pretty good, but there were so many moments where it just looked like they were waiting for spots to happen. like multiple times when Naomi went up to the top rope. Jade Cargill was like at a quarter cell. She was kind of acting like she was hurt, but not really. She was just kind of standing there looking up, waiting for Naomi to jump so she could do her next spot. It just felt like we were going. And then we took 3 steps back. And then we were going. And then we took 3 steps back from the action. And not because, somebody got knocked down and the other person was taunting, but because we were waiting for the spots to happen. And so were Jade Cargill and Naomi. Now, I don't think it makes this a bad match per se, but it definitely took away from that realism of it, which is always important in a wrestling match. You want it to look as real as possible, and when you have your performers standing there waiting for the next spot, it makes it look really bad. And for that reason, I'm going to give it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Now, the next match, LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. This match, it was awesome. Jacob Fatu is a beast. He's a fantastic wrestler to watch. And he's just so aggressive and explosive. LA Knight was really the guy that had to step up here. And boy, did he. They were just locked in with each other. Great, grappling wrestling, great spots all around, especially that moonsault into the BFT. That was awesome. I jumped out of my seat. Actually, I think I was laying down, but I still jumped out of my seat. It was insane. This match was great, and it delivered on every single level. It wasn't a 5-star match, in my opinion. Like, it's not one that we're going to look back on and say, oh, this is a top 10 WrestleMania match of all time. But man, it nearly stole the show. It stole the show by that point because we come off that world title win, 2 matches that were kind of just there. And then you have this match where these wrestlers were just going at it. Great ring presence and psychology, and everything was clicking. Also, LA Knight, from when he started getting big to where he is now, has improved so much on the mic and in the ring. There are little to no botches from him anymore, and he is so confident on the mic. It's no wonder he is so over and has been and hasn't really lost steam on that. But that aside, I'm going to give this match 4 out of 5 stars. Such a fun match. The next one, Rey Fenix versus El Grande Americano. This one was a fun one to watch. I'll say this much, the El Grande Americano's entrance was just annoying. Not him running out, not like anything that actually happened, but the TV graphic they played, that was horrible. That was awful. That was like, it hurt my eyes to watch because I hated it. I hated that. But anyways, the wrestling was good. It was just good. You have Rey Fenix and El Grande Americano, 2 fabulous luchadors, high-flying luchadors that can just go, and they can do all sorts of incredible things, like Rey Fenix swinging through the ropes, stopping himself, and coming back to kick El Grande Americano, or El Grande Americano doing a backwards 450 splash. Like, where do they come up with these things? El Grande Americano, towards the end of this match, obviously used that metal plate, and it was kind of a predictable thing, where he had used it so much throughout the build to this. So, of course, it had to come back for this match, especially when Rey Mysterio is not involved. And a lot of people were calling for, the mask to come off. Why would it come off against Rey Fenix, though? It has to end at Rey Mysterio, the most legendary luchador of all time. It has to. That's naturally where it's going to go. You don't unmask against a guy that got thrown in at the last minute. You unmask against a legend. Overall, again, really good. Not one that you're going to, go home and be talking about, especially on that night. There's still one more match to come that would absolutely steal the show. So I'm going to, like the World Heavyweight Championship match, give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. This Women's Championship match, it was tough to watch. They did not click. They did not. I've never been a big Charlotte Flair fan. I've always thought she was a lot clunkier than people were saying in the ring, but this just looked bad on both of them. They just never seemed to mesh when they did have, those spots where a counter needs to happen for the next person to do their move. And it never really got off the ground for me. It never moved me. It never got me out of my seat. I don't know. It feels like it should have been better, and it feels like it should have been. I don't know. It feels like it should have been a bigger moment for Tiffany Stratton, but it just couldn't be. It just couldn't be. And for that reason, I have to give that match a 1.5 out of 5 stars. Finally, we come to the main event. Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. This was awesome. First of all, Seth Rollins' entrance, the flamethrower, freaking cool. Living Color performing for CM Punk, even cooler. And then, of course, Tribal Chief just has all the aura. I'll give that to him. This triple threat match is just what a triple threat match should be, in my opinion. Constant action, not overdoing it with like the foreign objects and all of that, but adding it enough to where it shines. It felt organic for Rollins and Punk to have that moment going around the audience. And then Roman Reigns jumping the barricade, not even nicking the barricade, literally jumping over it and attacking both of them. It was awesome. The action between all three, when they were all three in the same spot together, just continuous. Great flow. Great. Oh, it was so fun to watch. Just moment after moment after moment. GTS into a spear or a Superman punch or a curb stomp into a spear or whatever. Whatever the combinations were, they all flowed nicely. And then the last moments of this match, where the storytelling of Paul Heyman coming out with CM Punk instead of his Tribal Chief, doing CM Punk's favor, really came to fruition. Paul Heyman had a choice to make. Either give the chair to his Tribal Chief or to his best friend that he owed a favor. And he gave it to CM Punk. But then when he wasn't looking, he low-blowed, very reluctantly it looked like, he low-blowed CM Punk and allowed Roman Reigns to hit CM Punk multiple times. And then Roman Reigns finally had a chance to get that moment again on Seth Rollins, where he could hit him with a steel chair in the back like he did so many years ago when he turned on the Shield, and Paul Heyman low-blowed Roman Reigns. And Seth Rollins didn't flinch. He knew what was happening. It ended with a Seth Rollins win with Paul Heyman by his side. The wrestling alone got this match to at least a 4-star, but the storytelling and the payoff, the thing that no one expected, that gives this match 5 out of 5 stars. Next, we're going to move on to night 2. I'm going to do a little something different. The opening match for the Women's World Championship was a 5-star triple threat match. In my opinion, it is match of the year so far. These ladies clicked. Smooth transitions from move to move to move. Constant action. There wasn't too long of a time where it was just one-on-one, which is a lot of the times what happens with a triple threat. 3 guys kind of fight, they fight it out a little bit, and then one guy gets dumped for 2 minutes of one-on-one, and then that guy comes back in, dumps another guy for 2 minutes of one-on-one. But this match never really had that. Maybe 30 seconds of one-on-one, and then it was right back into the constant action. It was awesome. It was so fun to watch, and to watch Rhea Ripley get KO'd, and then Io Sky come flying in and pin Bianca. It was just magical. This is a 5 out of 5 star match, and it was clear from like the first 3 minutes of the match that this was going to be good. I am very glad we got this triple threat, even if Rhea Ripley crying to get in it doesn't make too much sense. The payoff was so good. And then we moved on to the Sin City Street Fight. I mean, this was kind of what you want from a street fight. Just action throughout. There was weapons used just brutally against guys. Finishers hit against these two, and it was awesome. And, of course, Drew McIntyre made the obligatory tweet saying, "Still bored at work." That was so funny. When Priest got that got him up in the razor's edge for through the table, and Pat McAfee, of course, doing a Razor Ramon imitation. It was so fun. It was so fun. And then of Damian Priest getting pushed into those 2 tables outside, it was a fun match to watch. It was exactly what you expect from a street fight. It's tough. I don't know what to do, because I don't want to give it a 5 star just because I liked how many foreign objects were used and like all the extremeness, but that's what a street fight is. So I think out of respect for the non-street fight wrestling, I'll go 4.5, but I really probably should go 5, but I'm still going to stick with 4.5. Oh, that was tough. This Fatal 4-Way now. This was a good match. I've probably said that so many times, and you're probably sick of it. But it was textbook wrestling. It was textbook Fatal 4-Way. It didn't have that same continuous action as the 2 triple threats did, but it still felt good, and it didn't feel like, these guys are just doing a one-on-one. I do like, though, that the moment we got was Dom Mysterio pinning Finn Balor after hitting him with a splash. I feel like that's where it needed to go, because now we have the opportunity to get that power dynamic, get that power shift in the Judgment Day, and that story should develop really nicely. I can't wait for Finn Balor to hopefully win that Intercontinental Championship. If somebody from WWE is listening, make it happen. But yeah, I'm going to give this match 3.5 stars. It wasn't a bad match at all. Really good, really enjoyable. Not going to give a match rating for the Randy Orton Joe Hendry match, because it was 3 minutes, guys that hadn't seen each other, and it was just to get Joe Hendry out there, in my opinion. He got some offense, obviously, but he got hit with the RKO out of nowhere. And to those people that say Joe Hendry's buried, no, he is not. He has never in his life faced Randy Orton. He literally got the most out-of-nowhere RKO. Joe Hendry didn't even look before he got, wrapped around his neck and planted in his face. He didn't even look. It was out of nowhere. So I'm not going to give a rating for that match, because I don't want to. The next match, the AJ Styles Logan Paul match. This, in my opinion, underperformed. It felt slower than it should have been when you have AJ Styles and Logan Paul out there. AJ Styles can still go. I don't care that he's 48. He can still go. And of course, Logan Paul can, but it just felt like it wasn't fast enough. We did get Karrion Kross at WrestleMania, though. Karrion Kross is really growing on everybody. I've always kind of liked Karrion Kross, but that's besides the point. But it just felt slower than it should have been, like less action than it should have been. I said this was going to be a top 3 match of the year. It was not a top 3 match of the year. It wasn't bad, but it just underperformed in my opinion, so I'm going to give this 3 out of 5 stars. The women's tag team match. it was fine. I don't know. I like that Becky Lynch came back. That's cool, but I just feel bad for Bayley, someone who has, been there and at least been building this story with her, with Lyra, that is, and then all of a sudden just to get pushed to the side in an injury that wasn't a real injury. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right, and it doesn't sit right with me. So for that reason, I'm going to give this match a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't bad wrestling, but it felt like a return for the sake of a return. This could have been a thing that happened on the Raw after WrestleMania, in my opinion. You could have let Bayley get her WrestleMania moment, get her tag team title win, then she's attacked, then Becky Lynch comes out to help Lyra, then they lose, then she turns. I don't know. Maybe I have the wrong idea. And then the main event, the much maligned ending to the main event. I agree that it's deservedly maligned, but the wrestling before that, I didn't think was that bad. Look, John Cena is old. How old is John Cena? Let's look this up. Should have had this prepared. Yeah, he's 48 years old, and he's never been this stellar like athlete, I guess. He's not going to go out there and give you a Kurt Angle style wrestling match. He's going to give you a safe John Cena match, and that's by all means what we got. But I like that he was slower. When he did the 5 moves of doom, he went off the ropes, knocked him down, and stood up and taunted a little bit without really taunting. He mocked Cody Rhodes saying, "This is your champion." I have a few gripes with this match, though. The AA looked weak. Cody Rhodes took 4 AAs. 2 normal ones, 1 off the second rope, and then 1 after getting his face hit in an exposed turnbuckle twice. And he kicked out all times clean. But when Cody Rhodes hit his finisher, the Crossroads, John Cena had to get bailed out. Whether the ref was down or Travis Scott pulled the ref out, it doesn't matter. He had to get bailed out. This made the AA look very weak, in my opinion. And then, of course, why is The Rock not here? He's the one that started this. Shouldn't he be here to finish it? Shouldn't he be here to finish his story? I don't know. It feels weird. I'm going to say what probably everyone's heard on social media. Why, if you can't guarantee The Rock, don't book The Rock. Because when we don't get The Rock when we're expecting him, it makes moments like this where Travis Scott comes out and helps John Cena win feel a lot worse. Because of the ending, this probably brought it down by a star. But I also don't want to, no. Man, I don't know. 2.5. No. 2-star match. It just, the ending really ruined it, I think. Overall, WrestleMania, B. Solid B. Solid 85% in my opinion. Most of the matches were really good. I think people have too high of expectations after WrestleMania 40, and I think that's where a lot of people were disappointed, is that it didn't have that big WrestleMania feel. But last year we had The Rock, and then we had The Undertaker, and then we had Stone Cold, and then we had John Cena, all in the same match. I'm sorry that you didn't get that same thing. We can't have that every WrestleMania, unfortunately. So that is my rating and reviews for WrestleMania 41. Thank you for tuning into this episode. I'm going to end it really quick. Be sure to follow and always respect each other. Thank you. Good night.